I wanted to say, first off, thank you for your patience while I was trying to figure out the live stream. Um, that's one element that I was not used to using before the pandemic. So, Wi-Fi is not always reliable and internet connection, things like that, but we all get through it and your patience is really appreciated. That first piece that I played was my arrangement of Portrait of Tracy, which is a piece by the late, great Jaco Pastorius, which a lot would consider to be one of the greatest basses of all time. And this was actually on his debut album, Jaco, where he played an unaccompanied solo. And his use of harmonics to get notes that aren't on the instrument kind of, to me, had the same quality as some of the high notes on my pan. So I thought it felt perfect. And also the low note on a bass is an E, and the low note on my pans is also an E, so it was fate. Little kind of history slash cultural lesson here. Every time I do a recital on steel pan, I always feel like I need to educate my audience a little bit, because it's not every day you get to come to a steel pan recital. So, firstly, the instruments that I'm playing are referred to as steel pans. In the US, we usually refer to them as steel drums, but in their country of origin, the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, they refer to them as steel pans. And what they did was they would take these 55-gallon oil barrels, the same barrels that BP and places like that ship all their oil, and all this stuff was washing up on their shore. And because music making is so innate to their culture, anything was an instrument. And they found that just banging on the pans long enough eventually created different little punches, which they found that they could tune and create instruments that could play all 12 chromatic pitches in the Western scale. So that's how they're kind of made, and again, they're from the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm very fortunate that I was able to stumble upon these instruments, but I very much encourage people to really, really explore the culture and understand where it comes from, because this is the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago, and I love it. On that note, I'm going to play another piece because I feel like I always talk too long. This next piece is a piece by Jonathan Scales. He is a contemporary steel pan player who actually he got his composition degree at the university where I got my master's degree in percussion performance, Appalachian State University in Boone, North Carolina. He plays with his, and he composes with his group, Jonathan Scales Orchestra, and it's like a jazz fusion group, and he tours all over the country, internationally. Very, very amazing person, musician, and he plays the same instrument as me. This piece is called Ocean Church, so I hope you enjoy. This next piece that I'm going to perform for you is a piece by my really, really good friend, probably my best friend, I could say, Joshua Garrett. He's basically the person that introduced me to steel pan before I knew that I would fall in love with the instrument. His senior year of undergrad at West Liberty University was my freshman year, and that was my first kind of jump into music in general. Before I went to college, I would just play drum set in my room for my mom. I didn't have really much formal training, and I kind of had to teach myself how to do some things just to make it by. But my fall semester, they premiered a piece by Jamie Whitmarsh called Chromatic Aberration, and it was a tenor pan solo, or featured soloist, and that just kind of blew my mind that this was possible on this instrument, or this instrument existed even. And later on, just found out that I'd be playing this instrument, and I'm very fortunate for that, but also that he always kind of helped me and coached me. But this piece is his piece called On This Night, which is a chord melody solo based on a tune that he composed when he was in high school. So I'll let you kind of, it's in a Latin style, but I'll kind of let you just kind of jam out. Thank you. This next piece that I'm about to perform for you is a piece called Momohana, which is Japanese for peach blossom. This piece was part of a double-second consortium led by Louis Raymond Colker, who is a contemporary of mine, composer, steel pan player, pretty much same age as me. We're like the same person. So, and this piece is beautiful, composed by Sachel Thomas, who is she's a Trinidadian composer, and she's a wonderful human being as well. And they just make great music, and they're fun people to be around. It's like the best combination. And she actually has a little kind of description of what this piece is about, and she says it so eloquently, I don't want to try to improvise it, so I am actually going to read it off of my little cheat sheet over here. All right, so Sachel says that the peach blossom is personified as someone separated from its life source, as this is not an easy journey to go through. The peach blossom may float in the wind for a while, get stomped on by pedestrians, get lost, etc., but it eventually comes to a place of rest after its long journey where it eventually deteriorates. It now in turn gives life to the same tree from which it fell. To some, the end may seem harsh or sad, while to others it symbolizes the start of a new journey. The choice is yours. So I will let you kind of imagine that, and I hope that you enjoy your own musical journey of peach blossom. I'm going to take a brief intermission just to change the batteries on my camera and turn on my mixer. So feel free to talk amongst yourselves, hang out for a little. Should only take a minute. Yeah. Thank you. I just need to connect one more thing. All right, and we're back. I wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone with St. Matthew's Episcopal, Bob Traeger, Joshua Sachs, everybody else that has helped me kind of make this happen. I really, really appreciate everything you do. I don't feel like I ever say thank you enough, so thank you. This next half consists of all of my original compositions for steel pan. So this first piece is a piece called Feels, which it's kind of a play on words. At least at the time, there was a little phrase called "in my feels," which just means you're like feeling emotional and you can't really put your finger on why you're feeling that way. It might be towards anything, but for me, this piece kind of represents that phenomenon of like your brain wanting one thing and your heart wanting a different thing, and those kind of conflicting emotions, and just this duality. I try to express that also with different time feels as well, so that's where the play on words comes from, and also just different harmonic, major and minor, things like that. So I hope you enjoy Feels. I'm not going to make you listen to that at very little volume. I'm going to crank it up. Sorry about that. Okay, this is Feels. This next piece is a piece that I call, what does this mean? And what does this mean is basically kind of, it's like the existential question, like what's the meaning of life? And I don't claim to know the answer, but I think in general, my answer is living for what makes you feel happy and like you're getting a sense of fulfillment and just doing whatever you feel that your purpose in life is. I think it's unique to every single person. There's not a one-size-fits-all answer to that. But I will let you kind of decide. Thank you, thank you. Next piece is called Work in Progress. I am not great at naming pieces, especially when they're in progress. So I named it Work in Progress and thought it was funny to call it Work and Progress. And as I was composing it, I kind of came up with the meaning of it for me. And that's basically, if I work at something every single day, even if it's tough, even if I'm not feeling it, if I just give a little bit of effort towards something, it ends up being something really great in the end, in my eyes, because I kept working at it and didn't give up. That's what composition is for me. That's what playing music is for me. Just always giving it my best, even if my best is different every single day. So this is Work in Progress. Okay. So, this last piece that I'm about to perform for you, I want to give my full attention. Okay. This last piece that I'm going to perform for you is a piece called Sun's Crest, which for me is very, very meaningful, especially today. Sun's Crest is my story as a musician. Starting not really knowing anything about music, and then getting to where now I'm performing on stage for people, playing my own compositions, things that I never thought would be possible. Sun's Crest is a play on words. I grew up on Suncrest Avenue in Wheeling, and I just thought it was a funny name. But for me, it's just kind of my story as a musician. It kind of culminates like my progression, and I feel like it's not really done yet, so the ending doesn't really feel finished either. Because it's for me, the music journey is going to keep going. But I hope you enjoy this last piece called Sun's Crest. you everybody that made it out, and thank you for everybody tuning into the live stream. I had a lot of fun, and I hope to connect with people and keep sharing my music. I love it, and I'd love to collaborate with anybody too.
Okay, can you take some questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I would love to know what's involved in laying down the tracks that you play along with,
Mm-hmm.
because that's it's I have to say it's really wonderful. It's very relatable.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, for me, every moment, I was fortunate to actually, before I started writing for Pan, I was fortunate to always have a piano around me. And I write music when I'm feeling some sort of raw emotion. I'm going to turn this off just so it's not loud, so you can hear me. Yeah, I compose when I'm feeling some sort of raw emotion. It could be just intense joy, anger, sadness. Music is like my diary. So I sit a lot around an instrument and just improvise, kind of try to create the sound that I'm feeling inside. And then I kind of just like mess around with it. I use like Finale or MuseScore, like a music notation software to kind of write out my ideas, get them all organized, hear what they sound like together. But then other times I have GarageBand, the free music digital audio workstation on my phone. And that to me is like anytime I get an idea, if I'm just doodling around, like my mom can tell you, I've been doing this since my freshman year of undergrad. Just plinking around, seeing what sounds good, and if it doesn't sound good, then just don't do it again. But that's really my whole process, and just trying new things, kind of expanding my musical palette, I guess.
I particularly like the chords. I mean, the harmonies that you come up with are really, it never gets boring.
Thanks. Yeah.
That's, and that's saying something.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of harmony, and I didn't really excel at music theory when I was taking it because I was learning how to read music at the same time that I was taking it. But when I graduated from undergrad, I fell in love with jazz harmony and kind of just took it upon myself to learn, even if I didn't have a teacher. And just trying to find the sounds that I heard people play that made me, my ears perk up, made me feel something. If I'm audibly saying yeah, or like, like I gotta figure out what's happening. Like why is that happening? Yeah, so just exploring and not always trying to write everything like a common practice. This chord moves to this chord, moves to this chord. Just trying to see how the chords moving to each other can create an emotion or just something, and see if you like it or don't. And then you just kind of stumble upon new kind of tools that you can use for composition. So, yeah, thank you.
Well, I think you really hit on something, Jason. It's very, as I say, it's very relatable. It's just easy to go right along with.
Yeah. Greg?
I like your songs better than the other songs.
Hey, thanks. Thanks, I appreciate it. But I think really it's because, when you have the composer here sharing and giving you context, you really start to get the full picture, the full story, and can kind of really dig into it. I encourage you to just meet more composers and talk to them while they're still alive. But I think you and I have a cool kind of connection because we met each other through working at Cabela's and just talking while throwing stuff onto the belts or whatever. But yeah, I think it's nice to be able to share my story with people and that they receive it so well. So thank you for that. Yep.
Regarding the supporting player, how many voices were there? I wasn't paying attention. It was interesting the way you varied the tempo in there.
Yeah. I think, so I do play with a group. We're just kind of getting off the ground, but it's 2 steel pans, a higher soprano voice, and then minor, which is the alto voice, a guitar player, bass, drum set, and some percussion stuff.
So that was recording live musicians?
No, that's GarageBand using software instruments. That's why, like, you can tell the guitar doesn't sound the best. But if I can get a real guitar player, Nick, to record the parts, then
Well, what's the best?
yeah, exactly. I mean, it could be perfect right on, but I like the human aspect. So that's the next step. Just getting in the studio and laying it down with musicians all there together. That's the raw kind of.
So there were about 4 or 5 other musical voices in there?
Yep. Kind of a jazz combo, jazz fusion combo, you'd think. Something like that.
I think you're a virtuoso with GarageBand.
Thank you. I've had a lot of trial and error. I don't. I am saving my money to invest in better tools, but I'm trying to get the most out of the free tools that I have right now, rather than completely scrapping them because they're free and they're not. Like, you can get creative. You can be creative and create really cool things. You just kind of have to spend a little bit more time figuring out how to do it. But yeah. Cool.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all the people tuning in. I'll see you later.